ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Rachel Zegler's dream moment, starring in the live-action Snow White remake, was supposed to be the crowning jewel in her young career. It was supposed to fuse her rising star power with Disney's magical legacy to kick off a whole new era of fairy tale magic. But instead, from the very moment whispers started about huge changes to the classic story, everything began to unravel, and it only spiraled from there. The buzz reached a fever pitch when rumors exploded that Jack Black himself, yes, the Jack Black, confronted Zegler about the disaster unfolding behind the scenes. And when that happened, sources claim it triggered a full-blown breakdown for Rachel, one that exposed just how messy things had really gotten. What should have been a surefire Disney triumph, it morphed into an absolute PR nightmare.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken
Apparently, it all started when Jack Black allegedly cornered Zegler, questioning not just the production issues, but her fiery public defenses of the film. According to widespread whispers, it wasn't a polite chat. It was tense, emotional, and downright uncomfortable. For Rachel, already under crushing pressure, the confrontation reportedly cracked the fragile shell she had been desperately trying to hold together. It wasn't just about the movie anymore. It was about survival in a brutal spotlight.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as 2 live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head.
But let's be real. The warning signs were already there long before Jack Black even entered the picture. Dedicated Disney fans, the ones who usually eat up everything Disney touches, started feeling uneasy. Talk of creative liberties, bizarre test screenings, and a script that didn't know if it wanted to be a fairy tale or a lecture sent red flags flying everywhere. And once test audiences began spilling the tea, oh, it was on.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
Rumors swirled that the story was getting weighed down by heavy-handed messaging, dragging down what should have been a simple, enchanting narrative. The pace? All over the place. Early complaints were dismissed as internet cynicism. But as more and more dirt leaked out, that chorus of dissatisfaction grew louder and louder. Suddenly, everyone was side-eyeing Disney's new vision for Snow White.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Premiere.
Things got so bad that even Bob Iger, Disney's head honcho, and Rachel had to jump online, scrambling to calm the storm. They tried everything to spin it as misunderstood, but the more they talked, the worse it exploded. Behind the scenes, full-blown panic. Reshoots, edits, entire scenes ripped out, all in a desperate attempt to fix a sinking ship. But instead of magic, the set drowned in chaos.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Test audiences weren't just unimpressed, they were savage. At first they called it promising, kinda, but that faded fast. Soon it was all messy, and then completely incoherent. Like, what even was this supposed to be? The pacing, a nightmare. The tone, total emotional whiplash. 1 second nostalgic, the next preachy. Fans were left dizzy and done. What should have been a magical reintroduction turned into a chaotic, last-minute patchwork. And stuck right in the middle of the storm, Rachel Zegler, the face of the fallout, whether she wanted it or not.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Enter Jack Black. Known for his fun-loving vibe and his surprisingly thoughtful takes on Hollywood drama, he allegedly stepped up and called Rachel out directly. Whispers say he asked her if brushing off legitimate fan concerns by calling critics ignorant or malicious was really the best move. Ouch.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
Witnesses claim the conversation quickly turned heated. Rachel, already stretched beyond her limit, couldn't keep it together. She reportedly broke down, overwhelmed by the crushing mix of bad press, brutal reshoots, and the pressure of carrying a Disney juggernaut on her shoulders. And Jack's blunt honesty? It might have been the final push.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Some insiders say Rachel's breakdown was inevitable. Between reshoots that twisted the story beyond recognition, the avalanche of online hate, and a production in chaos, she was already walking a tightrope. Jack's confrontation? It was just the moment everything inside her snapped. And honey, once it snapped, the whole internet pounced.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
Neither Disney nor Rachel acknowledged the Jack Black confrontation publicly, which only fueled the gossip frenzy. For critics who already hated the Snow White remake, this was the cherry on top of a disastrous sundae. A film that was supposed to be a feminist reimagining, now it looked like a complete flaming mess.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
Fans, critics, bloggers, everyone painted a picture of a tumultuous set and a lead actress unraveling under the pressure. Meanwhile, calmer voices tried to wave a flag. Big productions are always stressful, they said, but no one was listening. The internet wanted blood, and it was Rachel's emotional fallout that fed the fire.
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message.
The core question haunted everyone. How the hell did Disney mess up Snow White? Was Jack Black's rumored outburst just the tip of the iceberg? Was it all doomed from the start? Even as Rachel stood her ground publicly, smiling and defending the story's new vision, critics ripped the film apart, from its shaky foundation to its preachy script.
It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be.
Even the magic touch of comedic legends like Jack Black couldn't save what insiders described as a bloated, agenda-driven mess. Scene transitions, abrupt, pacing, all over the place. No matter how hard they tried, viewers couldn't settle into the story. Instead of laughing or feeling inspired, they felt confused, disappointed.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
In a last-ditch effort to salvage the project, Disney CEO Bob Iger linked arms with Rachel Zegler for a full-blown optimism tour. They reminded fans how Disney has reinvented classics for new generations before. But this time, the magic words fell flat. Even Disney's die-hard loyalists, the ones who forgave The Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast, turned their backs. Because this wasn't just a reimagining, it felt like a betrayal.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
Fans started whispering, they ruined it. They don't even get the heart of the story anymore. Many blamed modern politics for forcing their way into a timeless fairy tale, ripping apart the spirit that made Snow White iconic. And if Jack Black, Hollywood's favorite funny guy, had enough and felt compelled to say something, you knew it was bad.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
Cynics jumped at the story of the confrontation as undeniable proof. The film wasn't just broken, it was falling apart at the seams. Meanwhile, defenders of Rachel Zegler tried desperately to spin the story. She's young, she's under immense pressure, she's standing up for her work. But even they couldn't deny, the bad vibes were impossible to ignore.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this.
As the gossip mill churned out even wilder versions of the Jack Black-Rachel Zegler showdown, the details got even messier. Some said the clash happened in private, overheard by crew members. Others whispered about a heated exchange off-camera at a press event. And a few wild rumors even claimed it was a furious phone call that ended in tears. No matter which version you believed, one thing was clear. Rachel Zegler disappeared from the spotlight for a hot minute afterward.
So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score, 73% audience ranking. Yeah, right.
And you better believe the silence only made fans hungrier for the tea. If it wasn't true, why didn't anyone deny it outright? If it was true, what else were they hiding? Meanwhile, critics tore apart every inch of the film's leaked descriptions. The story? A chaotic mess. The tone? A Frankenstein mashup of forced messages and awkward slapstick. Even Jack Black's rumored comedic input, if he had any, couldn't patch up the disaster unfolding on screen. Rachel, bless her heart, didn't help her case either. Instead of acknowledging the valid critiques, she clapped back, implying that people criticizing the movie were acting in bad faith. It only made things worse.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess.
Fans who had once defended Disney's remakes now lined up to drag Snow White for filth, not just because of the behind-the-scenes chaos, but because they felt disrespected. Advanced screening audiences described the movie as downright painful to watch, flipping wildly between cheesy comedy and heavy-handed lectures. Scenes cut and stitched back together so sloppily that it gave viewers whiplash. Some fans said that if Jack Black really did confront Rachel, it was probably out of sheer heartbreak, watching a project with so much potential fall apart under the weight of bad decisions and worse messaging. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Honestly, Disney had it all. A timeless story, loyal fans, endless nostalgia. They should have crushed it. But instead, they overthought, overcorrected, and lost the magic that made people care. And poor Rachel, she didn't just stumble, she got thrown under the bus. Instead of a Disney princess, she became the face of the backlash. Rachel wasn't the real problem. She was trapped in a corporate meltdown where everything went wrong. Disney didn't just fumble a movie, they broke the trust of their own fans. And once that trust is gone, it's almost impossible to get it back.